So I just have one other scene that I'd like to read from it, and this is a little later in the book, and it turns out that Brandon's ability to tune into birds also helps him with his ability to turn into illegal immigrants and smugglers and so on. And so, despite the fact that he's trying to avoid any more attention, he can't help himself because he keeps making more and more busts. And so this is a scene where he's dealing with that, and essentially the book is about all these different characters in the craziness they're enduring in this post 9/11 world. But part of the book is just about how Brandon goes from being this outcast and this joke to being somebody that's even admired. And one of the things that they did find when they were doing all these patrols up there is that they had no idea how many illegal immigrants were coming in from such a wide variety of countries, and so that's what I'm playing with here. Brandon avoided the headquarters banter he couldn't partake in and drove east into a valley that kept changing on him. More retirement ranches were popping up with two-chimney chalets. New cul-de-sacs sprouted alongside the bulldozed moonscape of the future Paradise Links. And closer to the border, bushy raspberry rows now doubled as potential smuggling lanes. The people were changing on him too. Even his parents looked at him differently now. And when he burst into the saloon looking for his trainer a while back, people started clapping. And all he could do was stand there, wondering where to put his hands until they started laughing. Though he tried to notice as little as possible that could lead to more arrests, paperwork, or acclaim, it was no use. He saw more than ever. He intercepted buds on Halverstick, then caught a smuggler on Judson Lake, and yet another in downtown Sumas. And the increased patrols didn't seem to discourage the illegals he kept finding in fields and forests, or sardined into muffler-dragging vans. He apprehended 5 Filipinos in a Voyager on Froberg Road. Two nights later, he watched a Monte Carlo cruising Markworth Avenue on an obvious decoy run. So he left his rig, jogged up the street, and saw 4 Cambodians crouched in the ferns, hands over their eyes like kids who didn't understand hide-and-seek yet. The next night he caught 4 Romanians, then 3 weepy Mexicans, who pleaded with him in Spanish until he would have let them go if he hadn't already radioed them in. They kept coming, as if racing to enter the States before the doors slammed shut for good. And nobody resembled the dangerous lying scammers they had warned him about. They were illegal by definition, right? But they didn't look like criminals. Most of them struck Brandon as exotic, even beautiful, though they weren't always endearing. 2 Iranians lectured him in broken English about the Bill of Rights, followed by an indignant Sri Lankan couple who scolded him for ruining their honeymoon. Brandon stepped into the woods to pee later that night, and 9 Venezuelans surrendered. So before I leave, just a couple things. I'm still trying to get the Highest Tide made into a movie, and I don't know if it would actually be filmed here, but I did have a Hollywood crew that came up here, and I drove them around South Sound, and amazingly enough, it was kind of a letdown for them for some reason. But they wanted to know things like where's the judge's house, and all these details that I had to explain to them that I made up. And they also were disappointed that the tidal flats weren't as lush as I described them. But there's a chance that it still could be made, and if so, I have a long list of people that want to be extras, but I'm open to ideas. And just lastly, I just want to say about the Land Trust that it's not my imagination, it's not your imagination. This is an extraordinary organization, and thank you for having me.